Welcome back to this week's edition of Table Talk Real Estate, Family, and Legacy. As promised, if you didn't see last week's video, we are discussing burnout as an adult parent, meaning you are now taking care of your parents. If you didn't catch last week's video, it was about how the roles are reversed when your parents become older and need the assistance of you. So if you haven't caught that video, check out last week's video. But this week's video, I can really speak to from the burnout perspective. Now, I never really felt burnt out when my mother had her stroke and went into the hospital because she never made it out of hospital. So there was never really a big burden on myself and my wife to care for her because we had the hospital staff there. But when there was talks of her coming home and timelines, yes, it did stress me out due to the fact that she lived in a home that she was not going to be able to go back to, just for the pure fact of she was not going to be able to, or we were not going to be able to safely get her in and out of the home due to the amount of stairs. Now, she had a stroke. She was paralyzed on the left side. She couldn't walk. She couldn't stand. She couldn't do anything. So she was going to be in a wheelchair, and trying to get somebody in a 16 or 17 stair up the case home just wasn't going to work. So a lot of things were going on in the background of selling the house, selling our house, moving her in with us, buying another house, this, that. Yes, that was stressing me out. I can only imagine and know how somebody would feel if they had to take care of their parent and didn't have the means to have help come in. Now, there are many ways, and you could easily get burnt out, I am sure, taking care of your mother or your father in a situation as I had, and probably would have gotten burnt out from it. Some key important things to remember is if you are an only child, okay, your parents had friends, okay? Your parents' friends still care about them. Call them and say, hey, look, we need time away. We need a couple hours. We need a day or two. Would you mind coming over and watching mom and dad? Can you watch them during the day? We have to go here. We have to do this. They're going to say yes, okay? They will say yes up to a certain point, obviously. But if it's just a matter of sitting with them and helping them maybe move from here to there, maybe cooking lunch or just hanging out with them just so they feel like there's somebody there, they'll say yes. They'll be around. All right. Key in on your family. If they have brothers or sisters that are still around and they're able to come over and hang out, ask them, right? Ask the aunts, ask the uncles, ask your cousins, right? The family should be there. The family support should be there. Depending on what has happened in the past, you can't control. All right. So that is another phase of burnout, is trying to control and trying to make sure everything goes as planned. Guess what? Life happens. It sucks. It's not going to work. All right. Don't get stressed out about it. With the burnout, you're going to, if you don't have support and you don't have help, you are going to get burnt out. So if you're watching this right now and you're in that situation, or the situation arises to where you need to care for your mother or your father, and they're either going to be moving in with you or you're going to be moving in with them because of the living situation on which works best for them, not you, for them, all right, and you don't have support, you're surely as hell going to get burnt out. So, as I mentioned in the past video, there's resources out there that you can look to. But number one, your family, all right. Number two, their friends, all right. Look for their friends. Ask your family. Ask their friends, right? Ask your friends. Your friends grew up with your parents, probably know your parents very well, all right, and they probably wouldn't be opposed to come over and spend a couple of hours with them and just, make sure that they're okay. So you can kind of reframe, refresh, because when you get burnt out, bad things happen. When you start getting burnt out, frustration starts coming out and showing, emotions start showing, things that probably would never have been said sometimes might get said. Um, it could escalate into arguments. It can turn into resentment. So burnout is a very bad thing, and you need to avoid the burnout however you can. And you need to rely on family, friends, and outside resources. All right. Here in Sarasota, we have what we call a senior friendship center. It's a 55 and over, we'll call it a community, but it's basically just for the day. And there's a couple of other places like that here in Sarasota, like Active Age and one or two others, where it's a daily drop-off site, if you will, that you can bring your parents to, and they can play cards, they can listen to music, they can have lunch, they can do this. And if you have a situation like that, or a company or a group like that where you live, look into it if you have senior age parents that you're taking care of, because you can get 2, 3, 4 hours, maybe even more of freedom to just kind of decompress and just have time for yourself and go shopping and have lunch with your friends and take your kids or do something with your kids or whatever, and not have to feel guilty that your parents are sitting home alone or out here. No, they're around other people that are like them, and they're going to make friends and they're going to have a good time. So you need the resources, you need your family backing, you need your friends backing. And like myself, who thought there was people there that was going to back me and help me, and turned out that no, it didn't work out that way. And it was frustrating because you sit there and you back them and help them with everything that they need, and turn it around and it's not there. And so you need to make sure that you are choosing and picking the people you think will help you very wisely, and know that when and if you need them, they will be there. So that is something very, very important. But if you have a larger family, like you come with brothers or sisters and things like that, the burnout will be a lot less. At least I would hope the burnout would be a lot less, because it will be easier for your brothers and your sisters to come and watch mom and dad, or take mom and dad for a couple hours. So the burnout really occurs, I feel, with only children that feel like they need to do everything themselves. And you don't. You have family, you have friends, you have resources. You need to be able to pick those resources, pick those friends, pick those family members that know they're going to be behind you and help you when you need it. And in a drop of a hat, if something happens and you need somebody to take care of mom, you call that person, and I would give it them like maybe an 80% that they're going to say yes. At a drop of a hat, they may have something already planned, but you have backups. So if you go down that list of 1, 2, maybe by the third person, you're going to have somebody say, yes, I can get there. I can help you out. So start thinking of that progressive list of who can I rely on? Who can I trust? All right. If this happens, all right, I know I have this center. I know I have this area. I can bring mom and dad and I can take care of what I need to. So the resources and the people will help you through that burnout phase. And if you have any questions or comments, drop them below. Drop them, because there's other people that are in the same situation that may live near you, that may live away from you, but have certain areas or certain things that you may not even realize that you have that you can rely on. All right. So we will look for next video next week. But in the meantime, have a great weekend. Subscribe to the channel, and we will continue to see you.